again. So we're going to go over some basic things about value, and we're going to start out with, you guys been doing linear perspective and other ways of kind of defining space, but we're going to look at how value can do that. And first off, we're going to start out with an exercise on creating a value scale, or a gradation scale, or you can call it lots of different things. And there's a lot of different ways to do this. I'm going to show you basically doing it with just shading, but gradual shading. There's also cross hatching and hatching and stippling, and a lot of other ways people do it, and which I'll give you some links and you can kind of explore those if you'd like. But I'm going to try to keep it, well, simple. So we're going to do the one that I describe in the directions is 9 1-inch squares. And the value scale is going to go from the white of the paper in 1 square to the darkest dark you can get in the 9th square. So 9 1-inch squares. See if I can pull that off. Always remember on rulers, by the way, they have this little space sometimes that you slide that over to line it up with the edge of where you're doing. I'm going to do this right on the edge of the paper. Some of you might do that. Sometimes I've done this where, like, I think in the directions in the project, I say we're going to do some simple shapes shading as well on this paper. Talk about putting them on the same paper, that's fine. Sometimes people like to do it on a separate piece and actually use it as a tool, which I'll be able to show you a little later. But anyway, 1-inch squares, Joe. So now, messy. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there'll be 1 centered and 4 to either side. Depending on where you want to start, you can start out darkest there, lightest there, but we'll put the darkest here. And there's a lot of different ways people do this, and I'll share some links with you as well, because it's good to get other information. But usually it's easiest to start out with the dark. Well, actually, it's easiest to start out with the one that's the lightest, because that's it. You're done. That's the lightest one. That's the value of the paper. But I'm going to take the 3H and put that aside. And I think I had the darkest one I have on hand is a 6B. And if you have something like an 8B or even an ebony pencil to come across, those will even be darker. So I can take, and I'm going to kind of shade in. Now I talked about, hatching like this and stippling, making little dots and stuff like that. Those are all perfectly valid ways to do this, but we're just going to go with kind of gradual shading. And I'm going to try to stay in the lines for a change. If you get outside of the lines, but as I press down, I can get darker and darker. I can go back and forth across it too. And some people get really particular. Now, if I see how hard darker it's getting now when I press really hard with the the 6B. Sorry. Like some people like to put down tape. Kind of like when you paint, you put down tape to keep it aside. I'm going to get this as dark as I can get it. So little white spots like that, and I'll fill them in. So I'm trying to see how dark I can get, okay, with this particular, and I'm pressing really hard at this point. Don't break your pencil too much. If you do, resharpen it. So that's our darkest. Now we could try to shoot for the middle range. We could start from there and go a little lighter. Sometimes it's nice to hit that middle one. It gives you a grounding point, and then kind of the one in between those, and then work back and forth. But I'm going to be a little bit, I've still got the 6B, but I'm going to notice just the difference in not pressing so hard. So this might be, I'm shooting that it'll be way too light. Way too messy. Okay. Oh, and why we're doing it. Why the heck are we doing this, Joe? Sloppy guy. And irregularities. For practice. Now I am not a drawer or a sculptor. So I need the practice. But if you're doing drawing, in the class, the basic design class, we cover lots of different stuff. Can't wait till we get into a little bit more three-dimensional things. But practicing this is where you learn to do things. I don't know. I could kind of cheat. Let me show you the cheat. If you go online, you can print out. You can find a value scale and print it out and cut it right at the edge so you can see it. And I can compare that dark. And I didn't get it as dark as that. And this has only got 8, so it would have been better if I got 9. But anyway, I can kind of utilize and see where the middle ones are, how close I am. And it's a little lighter. So you want it to go gradual. You don't want big jumps. Anyway, that's a way. Don't just do it yourself, but you can use that as a reference. Don't take a picture of it and then try to post it as your project. Don't do that. Anyway. Oh, and you could get a tortillon, not tortellini, but Okay, it's a rolled up piece of paper you can use to help blend the marks afterwards. That's how it's spelled. Because I can't say it right. Tortillons. I'm sure I'm messing it up. But you can roll it, or you can take a piece of paper and roll that up. This is not, I'm sure it'd be great. Not tight enough, and even a piece of cloth too can work. But I can use that edge, or even your finger, but then that gets really, I can use this edge to kind of go in and blend some of this together. Okay, if you want to do that. So it starts to get rid of those lines. So it makes it as much as you can. But you could buy them, but you can also just kind of make things too to make it work. All right, so just continue to go back and forth from each one, kind of getting a gentle kind of gradual change from light to dark, okay? And then once you're done with that, you work on your simple shapes.